into the gun. But there's been a fierce artillery rocket attack.
This is where firing is taking place just behind us. The jet is circling back. We've been asked to take cover. Those jets are coming back right now.
Victory online!
And this is the bombardment that Shiv and I have been talking about.
يا شباب يعطيك الله خير الصف الدين يا شباب دين الله عز وجل ما تكفرش.
It's a very fluid situation.
Victory online!
Back right now. The jet is circling back. We've been asked to take cover. These are chances to be taken. There's been intense aerial bombing even as we speak. The war for Libya gets bloodier and murkier. Battle lines are increasingly getting more fluid and collateral damage spiraling. The battle zone. This is where actual firing is taking place. The grads are firing. This is a multi-barrel rocket launcher. There has been an air attack. We've been asked to lie down. The Air Force, the Libyan Air Force has attacked this place in Ras Lanuf where Shiv and I are at this point of time. The multi-barrel rocket launchers, the aircraft guns, they've all opened up. We've been told to take a safer location. Shiv and I are now going to that safer location. We will keep giving you the latest updates.
We've just seen a Sukhoi 17 flying right above this part of Ras Lanuf. We landed here to take some pictures and that ACAT gun started firing. We looked up into the sky and we saw that Sukhoi 17. It's a variable geometry fighter bomber aircraft, and it has taken a circuitous route and gone in that direction. Pro-Gaddafi forces claim to be in control of most of Ajdabia town, the last defense of the rebels before their stronghold Benghazi comes under attack.
James, quickly!
Let's go!
Yeah.
Let's go!
Go! There's firing happening here. We're caught in this crossfire.
Go!
There's very intense aerial bombing happening.
Go back. Go back immediately.
Okay, no problem. That's Shiv with me. That's me. We're with another group of journalists. There's very, very intense bombing happening right here. You can see this entire place has caught fire.
Go!
Shiv and I are also returning to Ras Lanuf. There's been intense aerial bombing even as we speak.
No problem.
There are rockets landing everywhere. This is about 200 feet from where we are right now. The car's zooming back to Ras Lanuf. We were on the road from Ras Lanuf to Ben Jawad, but there's been a fierce artillery rocket attack. Now we're following the rebels back towards Ras Lanuf, and then we're going to retreat. Obviously, this is a setback. Very, very hard fighting happening. We've been on the road, and there's heavy fighting happening right now. A rocket attack, a very aggressive rocket attack. Gaurav and I were flat on the floor just a couple of seconds ago.
Ajdabia is crucial for the defense of Benghazi, the rebel headquarters. In the wake of the intense air, artillery and rocket attacks, residents of Ajdabia are fleeing to Benghazi, where civilians are being armed with assault rifles and hand grenades for the final face-off. On the road to Misrata, we are at one of the forward locations. At this point of time, there is a suspected attack, and that is why at this point of time, They're firing in the air to ensure that whatever aircraft that may be coming in this direction, the anti-aircraft guns, if you can look behind me, the anti-aircraft guns are also in place. The vehicles are moving very fast. Our convoy had stopped briefly because there was a suspected use of perhaps somebody coming forward, but that is not happening. Just as now, what is also happening at this point of time, these youngsters, these volunteers who are coming forward to be a part of this war against Colonel Gaddafi, these youngsters are also being given on the job training and they are ready to fire. Shiv Arur, our defense correspondent of Headlines Today, and I are moving forward with the revolutionary forces and we'll keep giving you all the updates on Headlines Today.
The message is clear. Kill as many Gaddafi men before blowing yourself up. Their logic, either way, if Gaddafi takes control, there will be a mass massacre and residents of eastern Libya will be systematically tortured and then killed.
The aircraft that we've spotted that's at very high altitude right now, it's not a fighter. It could either be a gunship, it could be a reconnaissance aircraft, a spy plane, or even a bomber. There's hectic activity here right now. Attack guns are firing. 2 fighters have circuited over Ras Lanuf. And the attack guns are firing away. There's one aircraft that's circuiting at high altitude. People here believe it could be a spy plane or even a bomber.
This rebels' claim is a war for freedom, for honor, for liberty, from the clutches of a tyrant. Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, who for the past 4 decades ruled Libya, mercilessly eliminating all opposition with mind-numbing brutality. Tanks like this one were used by Colonel Muammar Gaddafi to crush his own people. But things have changed here in Benghazi. Why did that happen? Well, the army's eastern unit, it rebelled against Gaddafi, refused to use tanks like this against its own people and has joined the people. With me, young Salah. Salah, what do you do?
I'm a student.
You're a student. Why are you here?
I'm here to support these people against Gaddafi.
Why?
Because he's used these machines and bring African people from Africa to protect these people.
Okay? Gaddafi stands accused of using means of weapons of war to kill his own people. That's why they want him to go, and they already have a new flag in place. Red for all the blood that they've shed, black for the dark ages, and green for the prosperity they hope will come to Libya the moment Gaddafi leaves. There is a lot of euphoria here. People extremely confident that Gaddafi will be forced to leave. He'll be forced to read the writing on the wall.
These secret jails bear testimony to 4 decades of torture. The whiff of the Jasmine Revolution blew into Libya. Thousands and thousands rose as one people, attacking these symbols of Gaddafi's power. Thousands died for freedom. Now thousands are willing to die to protect that freedom.
There since like 5 days ago, you know, the fight started in Ras Lanuf. And when you see these guys, look at them. They're not afraid of dying, you know, because we're fighting for our rights. Today, he didn't hit us with planes, but he was planes that were around, you know, just trying to scare us. But it was heavy weapons. You know what I mean? It was heavy weapons between our army and Bushafshuva army. We call them Bushafshuva, by the way, now.
But as of now, the rebels seem to be fighting a losing battle. Pro-Gaddafi forces are pushing them back, town by town, port by port, kilometer by kilometer.
The rebels are adopting guerrilla tactics. They move forward, strike, and then retreat. But in conventional warfare, the rebels are unable to hold on to key oil ports, having lost Ben Jawad, Ras Lanuf, and even Brega. If Libyan revolutionaries thought that Muammar Gaddafi would go without a fight, if their ragtag team spread across eastern Libya would be able to convince a dictator of 42 years to give up Libyan power so easily, they were sadly mistaken. And this armed warehouse in Rajma, just outside Benghazi in eastern Libya, where the headlines today team has reached, is testimony to the fact that this is one man who will not relinquish power so easy.
The pro-Gaddafi forces appear to be on the roll, threatening to recapture all rebel-held eastern Libya all the way up to the Egyptian border in just 48 hours.
From Gaddafi and his family, and we not surrender. Victory or die! And thank you, and thank you, and thank you for India and your canal, and you very good man and strong man for you come here in this war, and you fought everything.
The rebel morale is hit, but several say this is more psychological warfare, as is this statement of Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the tyrant's son. This is no empty threat. A day after Colonel Gaddafi's most prominent son promised a full-scale military offensive against the rebel heartland of eastern Libya, the signs in this part of the country are very telling. The rebels will fight to the finish. They've got spirit, their morale may be low, they may have made some losses in Ras Lanuf and other areas, but this is a fight for freedom, and it's one that they're not prepared to give up on.
The war is taking a heavy toll on the rebels. This hospital in Ras Lanuf saw a steady stream of injured fighters being rushed from the battlefront. The nature of injuries are changing dramatically. From sniper fire in the initial days to heavy artillery, rocket and bomb shrapnel injuries in the latest phase.
During the Battle of Ras Lanuf, we took shelter in this hospital. Dr. Suhail Altrash worked tirelessly, trying to save as many rebels as he possibly could.
That we are receiving those injured people from the battlefield, and we transport them through ambulances with doctors and high-trained nurses. Once they arrived here, we start resuscitating them by doing the CPR and hypovolemia management, control beating and life-threatening operations. And then once they are stabilized and able to be transferred to State Hospital, we transfer them to State at Benghazi for further advanced treatment.
What kind of injuries are they mostly?
Well, it differs. In the first days it was gunshots, and then it comes to be bombs. And after that comes the Katusha. And today we have bombs from boats, air bombs, aircraft bombs. I mean every kind of weapons. Boats, yes. Yeah.
Hours after we left this hospital, it came under severe air, artillery and rocket attack. As Ras Lanuf was run over by pro-Gaddafi forces, nothing was heard of this brave doctor and his team who worked till the end trying to save lives.
The military balance is tipped heavily in Gaddafi's favor. He has the advantage of air power, having more than 100 Soviet fighters raining death from the skies every day. He has tanks and artillery targeting rebels with pinpoint accuracy. Burnt cars and pickup trucks with anti-aircraft guns bear testimony to Gaddafi's superior firepower. The rebels are desperate for a no-fly zone to be declared as soon as possible.
Smoke for airplane for Gaddafi, you know that? He's use the airplane for these people. And you have the camera and photo that people, you know that? We not have good weapon. Gaddafi is used everything You know that? And kill us, you know? And nobody help. No, USA, Britannia, where everybody? Nobody help us.
It's the same plea all over eastern Libya. Their stronghold now shrunk to less than 500 square kilometers. US, NATO and the UN have for almost a fortnight now been dragging their feet on a no-fly zone. Each day, more lives are lost as the world debates, many say aimlessly, on ways to tackle a brutal dictator called Muammar Gaddafi.
He must go.
This anti-aircraft gun fired through the day. As of now, this gun is being rested, but there are other guns in this area that are still prepared. Tracer rounds are being fired. The situation remains alarmingly tense. There is fear that Colonel Gaddafi's forces could try to make a sneak push at night. That's why these soldiers are taking absolutely no chances.
In gun positions on full preparedness, there are tracer rounds being fired. There are anti-aircraft guns on full preparedness firing their rounds. This is not an exercise. Nobody has gotten this close to the actual frontier where the fighting has actually taken place. Headlines today is right here. We're going to move ahead. Those are the final frontier positions. The rebels have a few Grad 22 multi-barrel rocket launchers, some mortars, and claim to have a couple of squadrons of battle tanks. But the majority of their weapons comprise these 12.5mm anti-aircraft guns hurriedly mounted on Toyota pickup trucks. To prevent them from being seen from the skies, the rebels are even applying a coat of desert sand on their vehicles.
There is an aircraft that has been sighted and these anti-aircraft guns have opened up once again. Shiv and I have moved behind this concrete wall. It is some kind of a protection in case there is an aerial bombardment. Well, when the bomb falls, the shrapnel rises at an angle of 45 degrees. That's the time Shiv and I will lie flat against this concrete wall. Let's just hope and pray there are no airbursts, because in case there's an airburst bomb, then a helmet is perhaps the only protection, and both of us don't have that helmet. And this is the bombardment that Shiv and I have been talking about. This is the bombardment that is taking place, and I think now we will withdraw. We are withdrawing from this place to a safer area. These fighters now realize they are fighting a losing battle. To keep their morale high, they seek the intervention of the Almighty. This sign being made from spent anti-aircraft ammunition shells reads Allahu Akbar. Rebels quietly kneel at this sign before carrying out their fight to the finish.
With Ajdabia virtually lost, the war zone menacingly spreads east, with the heartland squarely in Gaddafi's sights. While civilians continue to flee their homes, hoping for solace across the border in Egypt, rebel soldiers are counting their prayers and ammunition, hoping they'll have enough for what promises to be a very bloody final battle.
Those who guide the rebels remain invisible, but a pattern has emerged. Draw your enemy into an area where you can fight best, and then give it all you have. But will that really be enough, with supply lines stretched on both sides and force disparities increasingly thrown into contrast? The possibility of this being a gory rout is very real. King Idris's mosque in East Libya, the biggest mosque in this part of the country, built by King Idris but ignored completely by Colonel Gaddafi. Now, this is the mosque that's spearheading the movement against him.
The world has abandoned Libya in more ways than one. While a no-fly zone seems a distant ideal for the revolution, thousands of people who made up the overwhelming majority of this country's workforce have fled, with their livelihoods in tatters and their safety completely compromised. Their one-way rides out of Libya may never be changed.
You hear this gunfire in this area, and this is the uncertainty that's making people from across the world, not just Indians, Bangladeshis, Chinese, Pakistanis, people from all over the world, they are leaving Libya because of this uncertainty. What they're also saying is they understand that this is bringing Libya down on its knees. The economy of this country is really suffering. Development projects have come to a complete standstill. But they can only return when normalcy does. And that can only happen when Colonel Muammar Gaddafi leaves. As Gaddafi forces move towards Benghazi, the rebels won. For them, it's a fight to the finish. The world will witness another Beirut in Benghazi, the worst civil war with pitched battles in parks and schools and markets along the Mediterranean coast. If the world does not intervene, and now the future for Libya is bloody and dark.
Into the car. But there's been a fierce artillery rocket attack.
This is where firing is taking place just behind us.
And Jen is circling back. He's been asked to take cover. Those jets are coming back right now. Victory or die!
And this is the bombardment that Shiv and I have been talking about.
الدين يا شباب دين الله عز وجل. الله أكبر.